I used to cop a lot, but never cop no drop. Hold mics like ponytails tight.
You are now listening to the Orange and Blue Crew.
Here are your hosts, King JJ and Anytime Knicks.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of the Orange and Blue Crew. I'm JJ. You might remember this guy. He was here the first 3 episodes. Welcome back. Jay from East New York, Anytime Knicks. Good to have you back, man.
Yo, what's good, John, man? I'm here, man. What's good? Let's talk Knicks, man.
Very excited to have you back on the show. Our boy Eddie Presti came in last week, and he did a very good job. We were happy to have him. We're happy to very much include more of you in the future. So that's always a good sign because Knicks Twitter, Knicks whatever you want to call it, we're a family, and we always will be. And there is no bond that is stronger than the Knicks fans. So without further ado, let's get this party started. Although, unfortunately, it definitely was not a party on Thursday night. Knicks battled a tough, gritty Golden State Warriors team. It did not go the way we wanted it to. Knicks couldn't buy a bucket as they fell 110-99. Give us your thoughts on this game.
Hey, man. It's a little frustrating to see your team lose as much as we've been losing. I think we're like 2-11 since the trade or something like that. Like, it's been really bad.
Alec Burks, man.
We just been. We're not gonna put it all on Alec Burks. Let's not do that because the truth of the matter is,
I'm not
he's
state,
playing
so I'm
above
not
his
do
means. That. Yeah, he's playing above his means, brother. It's not one specific player. It's a whole bunch of. It's a clusterfuck of things, man. Pardon my language. But right now, the Knicks are just hobbled, man, and teams are picking us apart. And guys are just not. We don't have enough right now, and that's okay because we're getting healthy. But it's hard to sit here and not be a little bit optimistic because I do feel like we're gonna get a lot better as guys start coming back healthy, and once we start getting guys like OG back, Randall along the pipeline, and eventually Mitch. I think that this team is going to start gelling in a way that people may not foresee. Right now, a lot of people on the timeline, social media, Twitter, they feel like the Knicks are kind of spiraling. And,
They're freaking
I
out.
understand, but I don't feel like that. I think that we're just in a transitional phase, man, and we just got to get healthy. And I think we're going to gel pretty quickly once we get our main guys back because you look at most of our losses, it comes from things that we can remedy. A shooter, a lockdown defender, a guy that can draw double teams to keep guys off of Brunson. Man, like we're not that far off.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. There's nothing to be. I can get the frustration. I could get the anger. I can get, people are getting upset because the Knicks at one point were the hottest team in basketball. Now we're one of the coldest teams in basketball. But unfortunately, that's the way things are, especially when you're as banged up as the Knicks were. When the Knicks were on that, 9-game win streak? Something like that? 9-game win streak? They went
Yeah,
like 9 and
man.
12.
We won 9 straight.
We were really healthy.
Yeah, we started losing.
We were only banged up for like 2 of those 9 games. So you can't really blame the losses on the actual Knicks. You can, but you also have to remember how banged up this team is and how I can get it's frustrating. You can complain all you want about it, but unfortunately, until the Knicks get healthy, I don't know where this team goes until this
Hey,
team
man,
gets
the
healthy.
truth of the matter is we're missing 2 of our stars. We're missing Julius Randle, who is our versatile big that can pretty much go and get a bucket. He can facilitate, he can play in the post, rebound. He's going to defend your team's second best player. And I think that that's what we're seeing right now. We don't have our point attack. We don't have our main guys. We don't have OG, who's our point of attack defender. And I think that's why if we have an OG for this Warriors game, I think we look totally different, and I think that that's enough to pull it out from a defensive standpoint. If we have a Julius Randle, now we have a lot more offensive power, and guys can't, attack Brunson, because like the way Steve Kerr played Brunson, he did a pretty good job. It was like this weird zone he was throwing at him. And I think that the Knicks have a little bit of scheming to do for when we do get fully healthy because we have to be able to make sure that these teams stay honest on the defensive end. And the only way we're going to do that is if we have enough shooting around Brunson. If we have a guy like Julius Randle who can go out and, he can just draw those double teams. He can break down defenses just because of his versatility alone. So I'm really waiting on Julius Randle. He's our X factor, man. Shout out to Big Drew, man.
Big Jew, Drew the Bully, Judy Annihilator. Shout out my boy Tony. But you mentioned guys getting healthy. You mentioned Knicks getting help. Well, the good news is we're doing things a little bit differently now. I don't know if you heard, but the Knicks are shaking it up a little bit with their latest signing. They went out and they got Shake Milton. What are your thoughts on this move? I like this a lot.
Yo, I was outside, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I was with the family. Shout out to my mom. I spent a lot of time with my mom yesterday. And I was having a good time. So I didn't even know. I didn't even know. Like I literally got on Twitter last night and I heard somebody talking about it in the space. And then, I went to the search bar and I typed in Knicks Shake Milton. And I was like, oh, okay. And it was kind of interesting because I'm like, do we really need another guard? Like I don't know exactly what role he's gonna play. Some people say that he's gonna be basically like a bench guy. He's not gonna play much. But I think that if you sign a Shake Milton this late in the season, with the play of an Alec Burks, I think that you see what he can give you at the two. I love Alec Burks. I'm a big Alec Burks fan as far as like his play style and what he gives us off the bench and what his role could be when we're at full strength. But he's been absolutely terrible. Everybody sees it. I'm not going to shy away from it. I think that if we bring in a guy like Shake Milton, if he can be as advertised as a 3-point shooter, if he can defend a little bit better than Alec Burks, because it seemed like right now he's just not defensively locked in. So if Shake Milton can come in and do those two things, then he should be all right. But by no means should this signing bring any less minutes from Deuce. I think
I
we need
agree.
Deuce. I think that Deuce is our main asset as far as the bench youth. I feel like you should invest in him and you should give him that confidence that we're gonna play you and you don't have to worry about this new guy coming in and taking your minutes. And we kind of already seen that happen with Alec Burks. I'm just not a fan of it. So, I don't want to see Deuce's minutes diminish because AB is technically our backup point guard. And I just don't know how a Shake Milton and AB back front court will look.
Yeah, I agree. Now, the only issue I have is that there are people that are talking about who should be this team's backup point guard. I'm fully on the Deuce McBride train. I'm not 100% with Alec Burks, but that's a debate for another time because you could get into that for hours, especially between you and State, and that's something that I definitely do not want to see. Shaking and bacon. That's a good reference. Shaking and bacon with Shake Milton. I like that. I like that. But we were mentioning Nick's getting healthy. We mentioned this guy a few times already today, but it's time to get back to it. We are so goddamn desperate for these guys to come back. And I don't think there's somebody on this team that has a bigger impact than our boy OG Anunoby. Now, from the latest I've been taking a look at the Knicks injury report. I've been checking it every single day. It seems that OG Anunoby is going to be back by March 19th or March 20th, something like that. I don't know if you heard about that. He was recently cleared for non-contact activities, so that was pretty good. So
Yeah.
that means shoot arounds, potentially free throw shooting. So the good news is he's back up on his feet. He's back in the gym. He's getting the shots up, and that's exactly what he needs to do. And I think when he does come back, since that was from February 29th, I think there's a much better shot we see this man in the middle of March. We're not going to see him for a while, but I wouldn't really be too concerned. Knicks are nice. Salute the panel. Shake Milton. Yes, sir. I appreciate the love. Anyway, back to the OG thing. I think the biggest concern I have with OG is this guy has to stay healthy. This guy cannot go down again. He has to be 100%. And I'm not willing to bring him back until he's at least 95 to 96%. That's my take on OG.
Well, first of all, shout out to OG Ananobi. I definitely think that he's very important to us offensively and defensively, but more so on the defensive end. Uh, you know, I'm not familiar with this injury. I don't know if this is more of a baseball injury, but elbowitis is something that I'm not too familiar with. And from what I hear, the surgery was more of a cleanup. It wasn't a full on surgery, like so. To me, that sounds like something that he'll be okay, as long as he's not putting too much stress on his arms. The fact that he's doing non contact, that's pretty good. Those are all good signs, man. Shout out to OG. I just want to see him get healthy and we start getting our guys back because we need to start building the repetitions and the chemistry, man. It's important. And defensively, we just have not been that great. And we need OG. We need him because he's the most versatile defender the Knicks have since the day they traded for him.
Yeah, and I still will never forget that trade. RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly for OG. I was skeptical at first, but then I found out we got Precious and I was feeling a little bit better. It's because I wasn't upset about RJ. I was upset about Quickly because I really liked IQ. But then I looked into the bigger picture. I saw IQ was going to be a free agent and that he was looking for a big time contract. And the Knicks couldn't afford to give him that major contract because they had other guys to sign. Like they had to give Hart was taking up a big amount of money. And now you've got Brunson on a 25 a year. Randall still got a big contract, which is, I think, the sole reason the Knicks haven't traded Randall is because of that man's contract. Nobody in the league is willing to take up on that contract. Well, when he comes back, the whole league would be wanting Julius Randle when they see how important this guy is to this Knicks organization. And you've came out with apologies about Precious Achiuwa. I've came out with apologies about Julius Randle. You admit your rights and you admit your wrongs. It's basically what it's like being a Knicks fan. Now, I've been asked this question many times, and I feel like this could be a very good conversation because there's a lot of skeptical people out there. There's a lot of angry Knicks fans out there because they're tired of answering these questions. But I don't even know why this is a debate with the record we have. But are the Knicks legit? That's something that needs to be answered. The current state of this Knicks team, I don't really think they're that legit. This current state of the team, the way they're on right now.
Okay, so at full strength, this team is as versatile and deep enough to beat any team in the Eastern Conference.
I
That's
agree.
including the Boston Celtics.
I agree. Yeah.
At full strength, and honestly, I'm just gonna put it on the coach. If Tom Thibodeau can find a 9 to 10 man rotation that is really, really strong with all of these new additions since the AB and Boyan trade, we could be unstoppable, man. When I think about it like this, you put a guy like Julius Randle back in the lineup, a guy like OG Ananobi back in the lineup. There you go, right there with your two main, your point of attack defender and your live wire on the offensive end. When you inject a guy like a Boyan Bogdanovic into the starting lineup, possibly, then you can play him in a Al Horford type role where he doesn't have to do much on the offensive end or the defensive end. All he has to do is be that reliable spot up shooter. And I think he can do that really well, and he's really good at relocating and dishing to the bigs. And I think that would help a Mitchell Robinson or Ihart, whoever we get back first. So, like, the sky is the limit for this team, man. We really have all the pieces. We have our 1A and our 1B and and Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, and then we have everything else around it. We have plenty of shooting. We have size. We have the versatility. We could play big. We could play small. We could play a defensive game. We could play a 7 seconds or less shot clock. Like, we can do whatever. It's all going to come down to Tom Thibodeau and what he deems fit and what he schemes once he gets a full healthy team, man. But for anybody to look at this roster on paper at full strength and to say that we're not a contender in the Eastern Conference, you're just absolutely biased. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
It's
Yeah.
absolute bias.
Now, obviously, the Knicks are completely banged up, but people are looking at the record for the Knicks against over 500 teams because what is it? I think it's like 12 and 23. I want you to go, and I'm going to go back and look at this. I'm going to go back and look at every single Knicks game that was with teams over 500. And from the OG trade, you take a look at all those losses. For example, you start with the Lakers. The Knicks were missing Mitchell Robinson, Quentin Grimes at the time. It was Mitch, Grimes, OG Randall. Warriors, OG Randall, Mitch. Pelicans, OG Randall, Mitch. Celtics, OG Randall, Mitch. Oh, Pelicans is Brunson, too. I forgot to mention that, by the way. Magic, OG Randall, Mitch. Pacers, OG Randall, Mitch. Mavericks, OG Randall, Mitch. And I'm pretty sure Brunson didn't play in that game either. Yeah, Brunson was out for the Mavericks game. Then you go back. You go look at the win streak. You got a solid 9 in a row. Magic, you're without. Okay, that one is a bad loss because you had everybody playing. Nope, I lied. Brunson was out that game. So, again, I'm noticing a trend when it comes to all these losses with the Knicks against over 500 teams. They're always missing guys. The only times we really lose games to over 500 teams is when guys are injured. So, if you're going to put it from that technical standpoint, look at how injured the Knicks are in these games. And then you've got the games before the OG trade. That was back when the Knicks were a completely average team. RJ and IQ, they were good assets, but they were never really enough to take this Knicks team over the top. It all changed when OG came over to New York. Mm-hmm. So to say that the Knicks are not a legit team is ridiculous. Now, right now, are they legit? F no. This team is not legit as of right now. But that's also because you're missing, I'm going to say it again, OG Randall, Mitch. 3 of your 5 starting guys. How are you supposed to win these games against the Warriors, the Pelicans, the Mavericks, the Celtics, the Cavaliers without 3 of your 5 starters? Put your team in that position and then talk to me. Speaking of the Cavaliers, it's that time. Know your foe, rivalry edition, if you can even call this a rivalry. Knicks and the Cavs are battling each other tonight at 7 p.m. on ESPN in Cleveland at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Knicks are coming off a loss, and the Cavs are coming off of what might be their biggest win of the year against the Mavericks, where Max Strus hit a half-court shot, which to me was absolutely outrageous. I don't know if you saw that. Max Strus hitting a half-court shot against the Mavericks.
Hey, man, I don't watch Cleveland unless the Knicks is playing against them. I'm just wait,
hang on.
I don't watch them guys, man.
That was last week. I had the games mixed up. They're coming off a win against the Pistons, a loss to the Bulls, and then the Max Strus game. Cavaliers, as of right now, are 6-4 in their last 10. Knicks, on the other hand, 3-7 in their last 10. But again, you're playing these 10 games without, here it is again, OG Randall, Mitch. If all 3 of these guys come in, I think that is a very big impact for this Knicks roster. Now, you take a look at the Cavs. You got Darius Garland. You have Donovan Mitchell. You have Evan Mobley. You've got yourselves a few sharpshooters. And again, no, as of right now, Nick Killer, Max Strus, because that dude always goes off against the Knicks for some weird reason. You still have Georges Niang, who's a good shooter. Karis LeVert's a bucket. Evan Mobley is ridiculous. Jarrett Allen's a solid 5 option. You got guys like Tristan Thompson, Amani Bates, Isaac Okoro, all in terms of depth. The Cavs have a very good roster, and it explains why they're second in the Eastern Conference. Now,
hey, man, hold on. Let me cut in right there, bro. Yo, let me tell you something, man. All of that shit that we hearing right now, yo, when it gets to the playoffs, all the Cavaliers have is Donovan Mitchell, man.
Correct.
We've seen, yo, shout out to the Cavaliers. I'm not going to overly shit on you guys, but I'm sorry, man. I just think the Knicks have their number. I don't care what happens in the regular season. If it's Knicks, Cavaliers in the playoffs, Knicks in 5, man.
Hey, we said it last year. We're going to say it again. Actually, no. 5 is generous. We're fully healthy. We put. You know what? I hope that the Cavs are the 3 seed. And honestly,
I put Donovan. I put a little respect on Donovan Mitchell's name. That's why I said Knicks in 5, because he's good enough to get them one game. He's good enough to get them one game.
Yeah. So you take a look at this game, and then you look at the Knicks. Hartenstein and Brunson are back, which is good news. They played decently against the Warriors because I'm looking at that game right now. Knicks shot atrociously, but Brunson still magically puts up 27 points. Curry put up 31. Hartenstein, 6 points, 6 rebounds. Josh Hart had 18 rebounds. So I think the key to this game is crashing the basket. You have to be able to shut down Evan Mobley inside the paint. You have to not let Donovan Mitchell get hot. Don't let Darius Garland get any open shots. And for the love of everything that's holy in this world, please cover Max Strus. I'm tired of this guy absolutely torching the Knicks, hitting 10 goddamn threes a game. It's getting out of control.
Oh,
Somebody got to
man.
fix it.
Yo,
But
the crazy part is he must have turned it around because the last time the Knicks played him, he shot terribly. So I mean, the last time the Knicks played the Cavs, Max Strus shot pretty terribly. So I'm looking forward to see what we do defensively. I'm sorry, man. I got the Knicks. I got the Knicks winning tonight. Like I honestly, I got the Knicks winning tonight, man. I just feel like
see,
anytime you put Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell on the floor together, if they on the opposite team, man, Jalen Brunson is gonna cook, bro. That's just how I feel, man.
you
Shout
see,
out to
I
JB,
want
man.
to.
Jalen
I
Iverson, let's
want
go,
to.
baby.
I want to pick the Knicks so bad. However, they're still incredibly shorthanded. I don't know how Precious is going to do against Evan Mobley. I don't know how Josh Hart's going to do against guys like Donovan Mitchell. And there's a take that was out recently that me and Eddie had this discussion. I want to put this to you. How would you feel about potentially taking Josh Hart out of the starting lineup and replacing him with Bojan Bogdanovic?
Hey, man, listen. I feel like you save that for when you get a full healthy OG and Randall. You know, But whatever Tibbs decides to do, it's gonna be based on whether it works. If it yields results, then that means that this was a good move. If it doesn't, then it's bad. See, that's where I'm at right now. Everything is situational. Everything is up in the air. So I'm looking at things from a very, very peculiar lens, bro. So I right now I'm not too concerned because, like I said, it's hard for me to fucking go at an injured, hobbled team. I understand next man up mentality. I'm very big on that. But when you're fucking playing your backups back, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how bare we are at points in the game when the backup is being played. That's
The
where we're at.
backup.
So I'm not about to fucking go crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm very optimistic for this Knicks team, man. We just got to get healthy, man. We're gonna be okay, man. We're gonna be okay, especially if we could get in. As long as we could get in more than 10 games at full strength. I don't know if that's possible, but if we could get more 10 regular season games at full strength going into the playoffs, if we have a good matchup in the first round, I think that trial by fire is a good way to build chemistry. So like if we could get a good 10 games and then go into the playoffs against a team that's beatable, i.e. a Cleveland Cavaliers
I.e. the
or
Philadelphia 76ers, i.e. the
Fats,
Miami
will be
Heat,
good.
i.e. honestly, i.e. the Orlando Magic. I love the Magic, but they just don't got the experience. Oh, most
Yeah.
importantly, i.e. the Indiana Pacers. That's
Oh,
who I want round one.
you talking how I like right now, yo,
I
man. I ain't
want
gonna
the
lie, man. I
Pacers.
was high on Halliburton. I still like him. I was one of those guys that believed the Knicks should have drafted him over Obi Toppin. Like I really like Halliburton, but he's not a Knick. It is what it is. If we see them in the playoffs, it's fuck him. You know what I'm
Pack them
saying?
up.
Knicks and
Pack them
6.
up. Knicks in 6. I like it. Now, as for my prediction, like I said, I want to pick the Knicks for the first time on Orange and Blue Crew. I'm fading the Knicks. I'm going Cavaliers 107 to 100 against the Knicks. I still think Brunson puts up 35. I still think Dante puts up 20. It's going to be a good game, but I just think the Cavaliers' forward depth and big man depth, I take that honestly over us. That's just
I
my
got this
honest
being
opinion.
I got this being a high scoring game. Score is going to be about 110, 115. Knicks.
I
Jalen
like it.
Brunson is going to have 40 points. Dante DiVincenzo is going to drop 25. We're going to get a big game from Precious Achua.
Your
Deuce is going to
boy.
come off the bench,
Your
give us
boy.
8-9 points, man. This is going to be a fantastic win.
How much for Alec Burks?
5 points, 3 rebounds for Alec
5
Burks.
points for Alec Burks. Give me 15 for Bojan Bogdanovic. 15 for Bojan. I think he plays well, and I think we see another 10-plus boards out of Isaiah Hartenstein. So, yeah, I'm feeling somewhat optimistic. Obviously, I want the Knicks to win this game because we need to beat the Cavs. We need some winning against the top sub 500 team, something like that. So this is a very important game for us, and I hope the Knicks take this one all the way. With that being said, that's going to do it for our next episode of the Orange and Blue Crew. Jay, it was a pleasure having you back, man.
Facts, man. I'm definitely locked in, man. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, I've been outside, y'all. Forgive me. Yo, JJ is such a hardworking kid, man. Yo, he's blowing my phone up. He's like, Jay, where you at? What are you doing? We're supposed to be doing the show. And unfortunately, my goddaughter was over. I was supposed to be doing some things with my mom and stuff. So, outside of Anytime Knicks and Jay from East New York, man, it's a whole big family, and sometimes we come together. So, I hope you guys, for the people the fans that we do have, excuse me, man. I was just, doing a little bit of family vibes and stuff.
It
man.
is okay.
My wife just walked in the door, so I'm glad we ended now so I can love on her, man.
Beautiful.
It's, family time. It's family time. The weekend
family
is when I spend most time
everything.
with my family, man.
And Nick's
But the
Twitter
Knicks
is
my family too, baby.
and-
You already know.
Yes, sir. And Nick's Twitter is so strong. If you do have to miss an episode, I'm sure I could find somebody. Nick's
Oh,
Twitter
that's
is
a
so
fact.
strong.
That's a fact, yo. It's so many supporters, man. Like, outside of just me, like there's a community of Knicks fans, and we all build and create off of each other, man. And just look at it, the Knicks Twitter trials, man. That was so organic.
That was some of the funniest stuff I've
Some
ever
of the-
seen on Twitter.
Some of the best shit, man. And it's starting to restore the feeling. I see a couple people saying like, yo, this might bring Twitter back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's starting to get a good feeling, man. So shout out to everybody involved, man. We could be sitting on our laurels, complaining, crying, because the Knicks are pretty terrible at the moment. But yo, we coping, man. We understand what's going on, man. And I think we should pat ourselves on the back as a fan base, man, for not being overly toxic during these trying times. I think everyone pretty much understands, like, we got to get healthy, man. And until we get healthy, you got to kind of, you can't judge this team as harshly. You can still talk about it and you can still voice your frustrations, but you have to put an asterisk next to it because
Asterisk. That's
injured,
a great way
man.
to put it.
Yes, man. Yes.
Well, anyway, that's going to do it for our episode. It was great seeing you guys again. I'm JJ Seggs. He's Jay from East New York. Anytime Knicks, you can find him Wednesdays, 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Yep. Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. We always rocking out, man. We're going to do it, man.
Yep,
My
well, we're
son just
signing
walked
off.
in the room.
Have a great day,